Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Right, let's take a look at every Premier League club and see what your most iconic moment of the decade was. There's been some absolutely insane moments over the last 10 years, so yeah, this was actually quite hard to narrow down. Oh yeah, try and hit 350,000 subscribers as soon as possible, lads, before obviously going on to 400. So damn close, lads. If you could smash that button when notifications turn on, you would be an absolute bona fide legend. Anyway, let's crack on with these iconic moments. Arsenal, Aaron Ramsey versus Hull City 2014. Okay, what it could have gone for when Thierry Henry arrived back on loan to sink Leeds in the Cup, that was a moment which soaked the Emirates in a wave of nostalgia, pining for a legendary centre forward that can actually stick the ball in the back of the net instead of persisting with poking the ice and Ogo with a stick and hoping for the best. But no, I'm going to go for Aaron Ramsey drilling home a 109th minute winner against Hull City in the 2014 FA Cup final. Arsenal had won a trophy for 9 years, they'd recently lost cup finals to the likes of Birmingham City and found themselves 2 goals down after 8 minutes against Hull. Had they lost the game, I'm guessing Arsenal fans would have slapped a death warrant at Paul Wenger's head, but no, Ramsey scores the winner, the drought ends, and Arsenal fans didn't have to face the indignity of actually losing an FA Cup final to the likes of Paul McShane. Aston Villa, FABIAN DELPH versus Liverpool 2015. Yeah, I could have gone with John McGinn's playoff final winner against Derby County, or even Jack Grealish letting the winner St Andrews after being clocked in the face by some drunken fat plumber. But no, let's go back to April 2015. Back in the days when Aston Villa were somehow knocking Liverpool out of an FA Cup semi-final. FABIAN DELPH netted the winner in a 2-1 comeback win as Tim Sherwood actually got Villa to their first FA Cup final in 15 goddamn years. Just don't ask what happened once they got there. Bournemouth, Nuhu versus Watford 2015. Yeah, for Bournemouth, I'm not even going to go for the Bournemouth goal. No, instead let's go for Watford's final game of the 14-15 championship season. The Hornets knew all they needed to do to claim the title was beat Sheffield Wednesday at home. And it was going swimmingly, 1-0 up and coasting, only for Nuhu to pop up with an injury time leveler to slightly dampen the party, giving Bournemouth the last gasp title win. Brighton, Pascal Gross versus Man United 2018. Yeah, I could have gone for when Brighton got promoted back in 2017, but to be honest, I think that whole party was soured by Jack Grealish banging in a last minute equaliser at Villa Park on the final day of the season, which effectively tore the championship title away from Brighton and packaged it neatly for Newcastle. So instead, the most iconic moment of the decade for Brighton, I'm going to go with May 2018, when Pascal Gross nets the only goal of the game against Man United to ensure the Seagulls achieve survival in their first ever Premier League season. Can you imagine the scenes that night at Brighton? Can you imagine that huge party? Staying up by beating Manchester United and Jose Mourinho at home. Absolutely incredible. Burnley, Sam Vokes versus QPR 2016. Fairly simple this one. May 2016, Sam Vokes slams home the only goal of the game against QPR at home, seeing Burnley promoted back to the Premier League. I'm guessing that was an absolutely incredible moment for all the lads packed in a Turf Moor that day, right? Chelsea, Didier, Drogba versus Bayern Munich 2012. I mean, what other moment could I possibly have gone for? Never mind the last 10 years, this was the greatest moment of Chelsea Football Club's goddamn history. Having been outplayed for the entire game, how Chelsea had somehow dragged Bayern Munich to penalties in this 2012 Champions League final, I have no earthly idea. Let's be honest, the 11-12 season was a mess for Chelsea. They'd sacked their manager after 7 months, they'd lost 10 games in the league, finished 6th, behind a Newcastle team consisting of Danny Simpson and James Perch, and yet somehow they ended up with a first ever European crown after surviving a Bavarian onslaught for 120 minutes. Didier Drogba steps up in what was his final game, well at this spell anyway, and slams home with a winning spot kick. Game over. Crystal Palace, Kevin Phillips versus Watford. This was mental. Championship playoff final 2013, an insanely tense game between Crystal Palace and Watford, decided by a late penalty from an almost 40-year-old Kevin Phillips. Phillips, a lad who'd lost his previous 3 playoff finals, was wheeled out for this one at the age of 39 and banged in a penalty to send Palace back into the top flight after an 8-year absence. Everton, JAGIELKA versus Liverpool 2014. Yeah, Everton didn't really achieve anything in this decade, did they? If we're looking for iconic moments, I don't know, maybe JAGIELKA nearly tearing the roof off the Anfield net. It's September 2014, they're trading at Anfield again, but Steven Gerrard having scored against them again. It looks for all the world like the Toffees are just sinking to their annual defeat at the home of their neighbours before JAGIELKA steps up and spangs home a last gasp equaliser from a good 30 yards out. Christ above. Leicester, Jamie Vardy versus Man United 2015. What a stunning decade this has been for Leicester. Honestly, just insane. I could go for the goal that won them their first Premier League title, but to be honest, it wouldn't be doing the club much justice if I just shoved Eden Hazard in there. So instead, let's go for Jamie Vardy netting the opener against Man United in November 2015, setting a record of scoring in 11 consecutive Premier League games. Considering only a few years earlier that man was sculling tins of vodka Skittles on the books of Fleetwood Town, that was just insane. Him wiping out Ruben for his long-standing record on his way to firing home 24 goals and winning the league? Good lord. Liverpool, Divock Origi versus Barcelona 2019. Okay, let's be honest, Liverpool's most memorable moment of the decade was the sight of their captain slipping up against Chelsea, but I'm not going to go for that one, that would be cruel. How about Divock Origi's second goal against Barcelona last season? Not just because of the quick thinking theatrics of Trent Alexander-Arnold, catching the Barca defence out with a quickly taken corner kick, no, more so because they put the finishing touches on a 4-0 home win over Barcelona, wiping out a 3-0 first leg deficit to qualify for the Champions League final. It was absolutely outstanding. Man City, Sergio Aguero versus QPR 2012. I mean, what else was I going to put in here? Clearly only one winner. the greatest moment in Premier League history. After trailing QPR at home until injury time, it looked like Man City were in the process of bottling their first ever Premier League title win. Roberto Mancini would no doubt have been sacked before he even stepped foot in the shower, and then Edin Dzeko levels it up before Mario Balotelli picks the perfect time to record his first ever assist, shoveling the ball into the path of Sergio Aguero, who nearly broke Paddy Kenny's net. Absolutely incredible. Man United, Robin van Persie versus Aston Villa 2013. Okay, this has been a decade full of terrible moments for Manchester United. It's a 10-year spell the club most likely will prefer to never remember ever again. Most iconic moment? How about Robin van Persie slamming home an inch-perfect volley against Aston Villa in April 2013 in a game which sealed the last Premier League title of the Sir Alex Ferguson reign? If you told the United fan back then that they would have to wait at least 8 years for another title, they'd have probably chewed off their own face. Newcastle checked JOTA versus Arsenal 2011. I almost went with Papi Cissé's last gasp home winner of Anzi Maka, which propelled Newcastle into the Europa League quarter-final, but no. Only one winner here. It was February 2011 and Newcastle found themselves 4-0 down at half-time at home to Arsenal. Considering they just waved goodbye to a talismanic centre forward in Andy Carroll and replaced him with a fat Finnish sweatball called Shepki Kuchi, Newcastle fans could have been forgiven for walking out the ground. But no, they rallied in the second half, scored 3 goals before Czech Didier banged in his only goal for the tune. A 30-yard half volley to send the Geordies wild and probably quench many a brain cell in the twitching Arsenal fanbase. Norwich Simeon Jackson versus Portsmouth 2011. May 2011, Simeone Jackson scores as Norwich see at Portsmouth to seal back-to-back promotions, soaring into the Premier League. Considering less than 2 years earlier, Norwich were sitting bottom of League One after an opening day 7-1 defeat at home to Colchester, this was an absolutely stunning rise. Sheffield United, Billy Sharp versus Bournemouth 2019. You know what, I'm going to go for the start of this season. Yeah, it was a scrappy goal, but still, how fitting was it that it was Billy Sharp, a Sheffield United club veteran, who was the one to score their first Premier League goal after 12 years, and his first of all time at the age of 33, scrambling into the net on the opening day of the season to preserve a point at Bournemouth. Yeah, great moment for the Blades. Southampton, Autu Nagatomo own goal versus Inter Milan 2016. Let's say, I've touched on promotions a lot on this list. I'm not sure, maybe when Yatu Nagatomo's own goal gave Southampton a 2-1 home win over Inter Milan. Go back 6 years earlier, with Inter champions of Europe and Southampton floundering 7th in League One with David Connolly up front, and you wouldn't have seen this result coming in a million years. It would be like Liverpool getting beaten by Peterborough next decade. Tottenham, Lucas Moura versus Ajax 2019. There's quite a few moments I could have gone for, but no, come on. This was one of the greatest moments of Tottenham history. With virtually the last kick of the game, Lucas Moura slams in a hat-trick, sealing a 3-2 win at Ajax to somehow put Spurs into the Champions League final. Let's just forget about that limp drab follow-up in the actual final. That was pitiful to the extreme. I mean, for Christ's sake, in the biggest game of these players' lives, there was only 90 seconds in the entire game where they weren't losing. Good lord, they really should have left a half-fit Harry Kane on the bench. Watford, Troy Deeney versus Leicester 2013. One of the most astonishing moments in football history ever. May 2013, the aggregate was level at 2-2 in this playoff semi-final second leg between Watford and Leicester. Anthony Knockaert steps forward to take a last-gasp spot kick to send Leicester into the final. And then he misses, and the ball gets booted down the pitch. Within 10 seconds, Troy Deeney was arriving to smash home a cross at the back post and send Watford through. Absolute carnage, even though they went on to lose the final. But don't worry, it all worked out for everyone. Both Deeney and Watford ended up in the Premier League soon after. Leicester became Premier League champions, and even good old Knockaert got promoted with Brighton. West Ham, Ricardo van Stey versus Blackpool 2012. Yeah, this was the decade where West Ham recorded big wins over pretty much every top club in the country. But I'm sorry, you can't really beat a last-gasp playoff final winner, can you? Yeah, it was a sloppy tap-in, but still, the moment Ricardo van Stey thumped into an empty Blackpool net to seal Premier League promotion, I'm guessing there were broken limbs in the crowd. Wolves, Diego Jota versus Man United 2019. It feels like Wolves and Manchester United played out a hell of a lot of games between each other in the last year and a half, doesn't it? Let's go for the FA Cup quarter-final meeting last season, with Diego Jota putting the finishing touches on a 2-1 home win to send Wolves into the FA Cup final. What an absolutely insane moment for all involved, I am sure, especially because they're the bottom of League One only a few years earlier. Anyway, that's the end of the video. What do you think, lads? Have I left out any iconic moments? I mean, most definitely. I mean, Christ above. I'm literally trying to find them like a needle in a haystack from the last 10 years. Lads, that is a long time. Let me know if I missed any out, but if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to get a like, share and subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.